Thanks so much, and welcome everyone to our webinar today. It's a very exciting new solution that ServiceNow has released. It's part of the Strategic Portfolio Management suite of solutions. I've got some slides here up front, kind of giving you the perspective of what the solution is, why is the solution exists, what are some common use cases, and on how and why you would like to actually use this solution. But I'm going to spend most of the time in the solution itself. So it's a very intuitive solution. You could probably take this webinar just as kind of all the training that you needed to start using the solution. So thanks again for joining us today. So basically here, when we talk about work management, that's a key component of project management, which ties into our strategic portfolio management. But you could have other work that you need to manage, whether it be within your PMO organization or across different departments. There's always work that needs to be done. And sometimes that work is just more day-to-day operational work the team needs to work on versus a structured project that requires funding and dedicated resources. So if we look at collaborative work management in terms of some of the capabilities and the core functions that you would want to use with the solution. So basically it gives you that work management tool so that you can collaborate and work across different teams. Here again, you can also create your own individual space as well. So you can do that collaboration. The collaborative work management, I might refer to it as CWM as part of the webinar today. So just a reminder that related to collaborative work management. So it gives you different ways to work with team members, and you can kind of create your own boards, manage those boards in whatever work process that supports your team. And you can also do it across different types of work. So that could be team tasks here, that could be defects, but actually you can create your own types of work. So say if you wanted to create a performance review type of work or a checkpoint type of work. So basically it gives the end user to create different types of work and manage it there in your board. So very, very flexible that way. Also, you can manage all of your documentation into one of your spaces, and then the team can see that information. You can share that information, and everyone will have access to that online. You can take your collaboration work management boards, and they can be related to a primary goal, as an example, or strategic programs, which then can be prioritized and roadmapped on your strategic planning workspace. So great capabilities there. Also, you can be able to, as I kind of alluded to, map it to a business goal. So outside of mapping it to a strategic program or to business goal, you can keep all of this work private, meaning you can create this team space. You can then collaborate with everyone that you share that space with on your board, and no one else can see it across the platform. The only way that it would be exposed across the platform is if you associate it to a business goal, i.e. the primary goal, to a strategic program, and then it can be viewed for strategic planning purposes. What's also nice, you can reference and the items and tag the items to different other work items that you might have. So out of the box, you've got projects, incidents, risk, issues, those type of items. But there's some settings you can set if there's other work items you'd also like to include and reference within the solution. So those of you that have been using strategic portfolio management, it was recently rebranded from IT business management, but there's three main modules or applications, as you can see here. The strategic portfolio management, which now includes the strategic planning workspace, the portfolio planning workspace, as well as the traditional project portfolio management capabilities. And that is provided as part of the SPM standard or SPM professional. And that's kind of the current licensing structure. There is the application portfolio management. And what's nice there, it leverages that project portfolio capability so that you can put together your overall application roadmaps, as an example. And then we have the collaborative work management new solution. And so a lot of times customers ask, well, how is that licensed? How do I need to pay for that? So if you already have an SPM standard or SPM professional license, then there is no cost. It's included as part of your SPM license. So from that perspective, no additional cost. It's already included. However, if you want to collaborate with departments that maybe don't have an SPM license, then you can purchase the collaborative work management license. It's a very lightweight license, like the business stakeholder license. So very cost effective license there. So don't let price be an issue there. Definitely can follow up with your sales rep, but very inexpensive if you want to collaborate across the different business departments, which is a great value add. As we just kind of highlighted here, these different components within strategic portfolio management, many of you that we've worked with are using components here, the strategic portfolio management side, whether it be the planning component. There is the new enterprise agile component that just came out, and that's actually within the strategic planning workspace. So that's a great capability. And then there's the kind of the legacy or classic project portfolio management, a lot of the execution layer of the solution. We have the application portfolio management, and then across both of those, think of it as how you can manage work across those different items above, and you can create your spaces and manage your work appropriately. From a ServiceNow perspective, this is one of the key reasons why they created the platform, is that many of their customers are managing different work items on the platform, right? And so as we all know, that connectivity between those different work items is a key reason customers are using the platform. But at the same time, they found a lot of customers that would move to other tools to do more detailed type of work. So whether it be moving into spreadsheets or to to-do lists, right? So maybe they move out and they're using SharePoint, or maybe they're using Smartsheets. And so basically this solution gives you that collaborative nature, very simple and user controlled space. And so that way users don't need to move off of the platform. They can use this capability to manage their work in a very simple fashion. Some of the core use cases, and this is something that we're seeing with our customers, is trying to understand the guidelines and use cases for using collaborative work management. Here again, you can use it really for anything. As you'll see here, it's very flexible. But what we typically see is individuals and teams can use this to collaborate on their daily operational tasks. So if you have a work group, as an example, or your PMO group, as an example, or a marketing team, right? There's some ongoing daily operational tasks or repetitive type of small initiatives that you might work on. And so it's a great way to use it and to collaborate ongoing with that type of work. Or teams could also use it to manage small non-project activities and assignments. And so kind of here again, kind of lending into that operational type of work. However, also there's the opportunity for project managers and teams to use the collaborative work management. So many of you have probably heard and seen in the past that when you're using an enterprise PPM system and you're using it for core project portfolio management, the best practice there is to make sure that you're managing your milestones as well as your deliverables, so that you can roll up in those formal projects where you've made investments, etc. So you can roll up and show that reporting, but then allowing the project managers and teams to use their execution tool of choice. So this gives them an opportunity to have collaborative work management as that tool of choice to get those more detailed tasks and assignments, to more effectively collaborate across different departments there. So it can be a great usage there for those project teams. And then teams also, just as a more of a capability perspective here, you can make sure that the collaboration boards themselves are aligned to strategic programs and goals so that they can be rolled up into the strategic planning workspace as part of the overall roadmaps. So those top three are really the kind of some of the core use cases. But as we get in here and show the solution, you'll notice that you can probably use it for any type of work. So overall here, it's meant to unite and bring a team together in a space. So really looking to break down any silos that might exist today. And then to simplify. So it is a very intuitive user experience, really focused in on making it simple, but it does integrate in with strategic portfolio management as mentioned. And then it really empowers everyone to configure and manage different types of work items. So number one, you can manage your board and the work based on what's most appropriate, whether it be list view, Kanban view, Gantt view, so you can manage your work in that fashion. Also, it very powerful, allows you to, as from an end user perspective, no admin required to come in and create your own automations, whether it be I want to automate the creation of a notification, an email, or even if I want to automate the update of a particular work item, you can do that as well. So really powerful set of capabilities here. So really the focus is make sure that you can have one central place on the ServiceNow platform for collaboration, in addition to other types of work that might be occurring on the platform. Here's just another example how you can basically create a space. You get to identify the different users. So that could be across different departments, cross teams, as well as part of some of your project team members, as an example. And then everyone that you've selected in that space, they're the only ones that can see that board. So it builds in some security so that no one else can see that work. The only way that that would be exposed is if you take that board and you want to have that board shown on one of your strategic plans or overall strategic planning workspace. So here we get into some of the core capabilities. You can see some of the visualizations here, but I want to spend the bulk of the time actually in the system. So here within an actual collaborative work management solution, I can create various spaces. Within that space, then I can share that, as I mentioned before, and kind of create that secure set of users for your space. And so as one that's creating and owning that space, you can invite others, you can give them view access, or you can give them owner access or editor access. And so it gives you that ability to share and to collaborate. But also, right, you can collaborate across different teams. And then here we can manage the work. Here, so you can manage that work. But also what's nice, in addition to doing automations, you can actually add in data elements as part of the core work tasks here within the solution. So I can go create one of those business sponsor fields with a couple of clicks. I don't need an admin developer for that. I could add a new date field. So I could even align my individual tasks if I wanted to an incident, right, or to a project task, as an example. So a lot of great capabilities here at your fingertips. Next here is kind of highlighting the automations. So from an end user perspective, no admin required, right, allows you to set up automations. There are some examples set up, and you can take those and tailor those for your needs. So we'll go into that in the demonstration. Also here you've got documents, so you can collaborate real time. You can see other users if they're in editing the document or viewing the document here. So you're able to create those documents in your different spaces and collaborate as a team. There's actually templates here. So whether it be a team meeting as an example, or a brainstorming session, here again, you can also create your own templates. And then as the last but not least here was, if you want the exposure and you want it to be rolled up You can roll it up into strategic planning here as a collaborative work management board. So what I want to do next here, answer a couple of common questions before I jump into the demonstration. So we've got these collaborative spaces, and so we'll highlight how you can create a space. Within that space, you can create folders, and within those folders, right, you can create a board. You can also create documents. So you get to kind of set up your own structure within your space. The automations, which we've been talking about, the ability to visualize your task, whether it be Kanban or an overall Gantt view, the documentation here, the connecting to the strategy. In terms of access, so basically, once you would install the plugin here for this CWM, Collaborative Work Management, right, you would give a user this role, and then they would have access to the environment. And then as a member of that space, right, then you can add and share others to your space, and you can associate them with a different role capabilities such as owner, editor, and viewer. So this is kind of an overarching view here. This kind of shows you how you connect to the strategy, an important component there. And then here, how it would show up here on the strategic portfolio planning capabilities. So you can do that as well. And it's going to be tied to the board. So I'm going to jump into the demo here and get in here and show you in depth how to use the solution. In preparations for our webinar today, I created this space for Enterprise PMO. And then I created different folders here. So I've got a strategic planning folder, which has a document repository here. And we can see a recent brainstorming session as an example. I've got an overall board. So this is kind of really your collaboration board where you'd have various lists of tasks. So I've got that here as part of strategic planning activities we might be doing as part of the Enterprise PMO. I've got my folder here for project delivery. I've got my project delivery PMO documents here. I've got my project assessment board here as we're assessing the health of our projects. We're looking at, so we've got various tasks that we want everyone to work on to review the project health as we're monitoring those. We want to perform some of our post-implementation benefit realization analysis. We have some tasks there. We also want to review risk mitigation plans for high-risk projects. So we can kind of manage all that work here in a list view. We can manage that work here in an overall Gantt view. You can also, change the dates here by using the capabilities there. And then we've got a Kanban board. So you can easily change the different lanes here, right? You can drag and drop as you've seen before on the platform. I could come over here and look at our folder here for financial management. In this case, I haven't added anything to it. Or we could come over here under resource management, and I could see the board here that we've created for resource management. And so what we'll see here, various tasks for creating a performance review template, preparing for reviews, conducting overall reviews. So that's kind of showing you some of the core capabilities here that I set up here using this Enterprise PMO. What I'm going to do is create a new one here and just kind of walk you through in detail so you have a very good understanding of the solution. So I'm going to come in here, and you can see here when I click on create, I can create a new space, I can create a new board or a new document, but that's going to be added to an existing space. So that's one way to do a create. I could come here to this current space, click here on the more dots, and add a new folder, a new board, a new document in here. I can move things around within my space. Here again, this is for a space that's already been created. So we can come in here and create a new space, and we can give it a name. So we can say maybe this is our HR PMO, and we can come over here and create a new space. So at this point, we don't have anything in this particular space. It highlights here if I wanted to come in and create a board, if I wanted to create a document. So I can definitely use that as an example. So I can come over here and create a new board. And here we would say this would be our, just to keep it consistent, just say this will be our project delivery board here. And I can create that board. So now created that board here within this space. So when I create this, right, I could come over here and decide who I want to share that with. So I could do members or groups here that I want to share that with, right? So I can select someone they want to share. I can select what type of access I want to provide them. I can give them a message in here as well, right? And then I can say share that board. And once you've done that sharing, that's kind of the security around this. If they have that collaborative work management license role, then they'll be able to come in here and use the solution. So then what we can do here is we can add items to our board. And you'll see here I've got tasks or I got manage item types. So I can come in here. One of the basic ones here is a task. So I could say we want to first look at review project health. And we've got a task here. We can give it a date here associated with it. So I could say, yeah, we want to start that today here, and we want to complete that by next week. And we can save that, create that new item. So now I've created a new task here. Here I can then actually identify someone to associate that with. So in this case, I'll assign that to Gwen here. And so this is kind of using the out-of-the-box set of fields on this particular task. So if I come over here and click on it, I can see the high-level view here. So one thing that we see a lot is someone say, hey, well, I want to assign this to a group as an example. And so I could come in here and say, well, do I have a group assignment? And so here out of the box, it's meant to be managed at a one-to-one relationship. But however, I've got this great capability where I can adjust and add to my record. So I could come in here and say, I want to add a column. I want to make it a people field here. And I want to say assign ease as an example. And I want to allow for all users, and I want it to be multi-select. So I can click on add that. And so now I've added in this assignees field. So no admin required, simple user interface there. I can then take this if I wanted to, right, and move this column over here to the front. And then I could click here, search for users, and search for additional users. And so I could then assign multiple assignees to that particular item. So quick, easy way there of doing that. And so then we might want to add another item here. So we're going to add another task. And then we're going to do here, we're going to review and validate project benefit realization. So we can do that. We can give it a time frame here. We're going to start the 31st. Actually, we'll start on the 1st. And then we'll say we want to complete that by the end of August. And so we can then add that particular task. So similar things that you can do here in the new project workspace. So I could click here on this task and say, no, I want to reorder it. So I can reorder that. I can come in here and select both tasks here, or multiple tasks. I can click on it here and say copy here. So I can copy that. All right, then I can come down here and I can say paste those two rows above or below. And so in this case, I paste those below. I could come in here and update those. I can do that. I could come in here also on this review project health. Let's just kind of order these together. So if I wanted to move that one up here, I've got my copy here. I could say, okay, I want to indent that item. So I can do that as well. Some great ease of use then to manage that work. But if I wanted to, right, I can view that information here on my Gantt view here. You can see here we're kind of looking at it by auto fit here, but we could do it by week if we wanted to, right? We could do it by month as an example, and then we can come over here and do the Kanban board and move things over here into work in progress, or come back over here and manage it here from the overall list view. So it gives you that easy way to come in here and create a board, a part of this new space. We also then showed you how you can go in and create a new column here for that particular board. But say we wanted to, now we want to create here an actual document that we want to collaborate on. And so we want to create here this new document, and we want to say HR PMO meetings as an example, and we'll create that. And so then within that, then we create these different pages, i.e. these different documents. And so we can title that, and we can just call this our PMO meeting, hit enter. And so now I've got this blank space to really collaborate, create a document. And so this is a blank document. Or I could say, no, actually, I forgot I wanted to use a template. So I could use brainstorming ideas, project charter, project brief here. Let's go to meeting notes and click on new there. So basically now I've created a new document. I've got this meeting name, right? So here we could say preparations for benefit realization activities, right? So we could have our different meeting here. Then what's also nice here, in any document, if I use the / key, I can then reference to another member of the team here. So I can easily do that, add in other team members. So I can view that. It kind of color codes them here. So I think if it turns on, if it's green, then they're actually online, so you could collaborate with them. So you can do that. And then here down with the agenda items, maybe with one of the agenda items, maybe this is going to be relate to a particular project as an example. So here you've got different work items. So if you need different other work items than these, you set a property. You can have your admin team set a property. Another work item can be shown here. So in this case, if I just select a project here, and we'll just come in here and associate it there. This link then would take someone to that actual project on the platform. So you can do that as well. So then we can just manage our meeting there. You can do the typical rich text editing. You can attach, you know, links and images and those type of items here to the board. Create a table associated with it. So a lot of capability here you can use, and we can, you know, label this here, benefit realization. And so we've got those different pages here that everyone would be able to go online and view this. A lot of times we get questions, can these be exported out? You can save them as a template, but at this point, haven't found the ability to export it out. I'm sure that's something that they're probably doing in the future, but gives you that ability to track and manage and view those documents here all online as part of that particular team. So that's a great way of managing your work there. So as we can see here with this particular space, we created a board, and we, which is the project delivery board, right? And we created our overall, and that'll come back up here, and we saw the tasks that we had created here before. We can see here, right? We have these documents in here, but we could come in here and create folders. You can see here from the previous one that I set up before, I created different folders, strategic planning, which had docs and a board. I had project delivery that had documents and a board as well. So we can do that same type of thing here with this HR PMO space. So we can come in here and say we want to create a new folder here, and we can come in here and say this is for project delivery. and we can create that overall folder. And then we could say here, we want to move this documents here. We can move that here to project delivery in that folder, and we can move it there. So now we can see that that's been indented. We can do the same thing here with our board here. We want to move that to our folder here for project delivery, and then we can click here, move, and move it over. So it gives you great ways here to basically organize things in folders within your space. So you can do that. Here again, right, I can always create my own personal space as well. So a lot of great capabilities here in the system. And so one of the next things I wanted to highlight is the ability to create automations. And so this can be automations that take inputs and actually update some of your work items, or it can be automations to do some communication as well. So if I wanted to come over here, I can look at automations that I can set up. And so you can see here, I've got various templates that can be used. So when a field changes to something, then change another field to something else. Right, so once I assign something to someone, or if the state changes to work in progress, or if the state changes to complete, then maybe I want to assign someone to the next task, or I want to update or some other fields on my task, right? So I can use this type of a capability. Here's an example: when a date changes to a specific date, I can have another field can actually be updated. So a common thing here is, say, when I have a task and it's been assigned to me and I'm working on it, when I complete my work, right, I could use this to then reassign it to someone else from an automation perspective. So I don't need to go in and do that ongoing. Then also down here, I can look at notifications or emails. So if a date changes, I can set a notification when a specific field has a specific value, then I can send a notification, or I can actually have it send an email. So different functions there. So if we come in here and we just look at field changes here, so we could come in here and say, I can say when the start date changes, and so I've got options to say changes or changes to or arrives at. And so when it changes to, July 26th, send a notification, then I can select who I want to send that notification to, everyone in the space, owners in the space, editors, viewers, or a specific user. So easy way to send out and create a new notification. Here again, right, I could do everyone in the space, maybe someone else as well, but probably want to just keep it to everyone in the space. And then I can add that automation. So that automation is now active. I can turn it off if I wanted to turn it off later. I can turn it back on as an example. I can edit it or delete it over time. So I've now got that particular automation set up. If I want to come in and look at creating another type of automation here, I can undo that. So when I say field, so I could select a specific field in here, right? So an assign to changes to, a specific user here, then I want to either send a notification, an email, or make an update, right? So I could say, yeah, I want to send an email here, and I want to send an email here to Abel here. And so that's the way I can do that. Now there is an out-of-the-box assign to notification, so you can use that. But this is just giving you an example of how you can set up an email notification via using the automation tools here. And then at this point, I could say add. So now I can see that I've got two different automations here in this particular space. And like I said before, you could turn those on or off as an example. I could come back in here and then create another automation as needed. But that gives you an idea of how you can manage automation in here as well. So that's an item. Another thing here, which is really powerful too, is we came in here and showed you examples of adding tasks. well, what if I have other types of items I want to do? So out of the box, you have tasks or defects, but I could come in here and say, oh, I want a different type of item in here. So I can add in a custom type. So maybe it's a performance review task as an example. So you can create a different type of work, if you will, such as performance review. So I can save that. So now when I go create a new item, I can select task or performance review. Another one you might want to do here, maybe want to come in and say a checkpoint. Maybe it's a project checkpoint, maybe it's operational checkpoint. So we can create another type of item. And so very simple to add a whole new record. And then if I come over here, I can say performance review as an example and schedule performance review, right? I could fill in some additional information. At this point, I'll just click on save here. And so now I've got a whole new record work type called performance review, and I can manage that. Same thing, right? If I wanted to do the checkpoint as an example here, and a new checkpoint, and I'll just click on save. So you can do that as well. Also, what you can do too is you can do change your layout here. So a lot of times we'll come over here and say we want to pin the short description to the left, right? So we could pin the short description here. So as I move over, I'm always seeing the short description. But also what you can do is if we wanted to, filter here, and we could filter, right? Do we want to see tasks, checkpoint, or performance reviews, right? So if we just wanted to see tasks, we could apply that filter, and we're just going to see our tasks, right? Or we could come back over here and say, oh, I just want to see performance reviews as an example, and then we can just see the performance review. So a lot of good capabilities there for you as well. So that's another one. And then one of the last ones, in addition to the adding a new column, we showed how you could add a new assignee multi-select field. But you could come in here and add in a reference field here. And we could say this is a project as an example. And then here we could say, let's look at a project. So this is if you wanted to associate your items to a specific project. You can do that here in the system as well. So here is the project record that's on the strategic planning boards, or here's the standard classic project here, and then I can add that. And so now it's added that project column here, right? So then at this point, then I could search for a PRJ number here and associate that to this particular item. And right, you could do the same thing here if I wanted to associate it here, let's say to an incident as an example. I'm doing more of some of our operational items. And so we could come in here. So we could come in and put in incident here. And we could add that column. Do the same thing, make that reference to it. And so we can manage it in that fashion. So a lot of great capabilities here in the collaborative work management. So hopefully this has given you a in-depth view of all the capabilities. I think I've kind of reviewed all of the capabilities here. Like we said, you can really just turn on the plugin, give your users the CWM user role, and then someone can come in and create boards and share it with others. And that's really all you need to do to be off and running. And so you could use the recording on this webinar, quote unquote, as your training. So many of you are starting to use portfolio planning or strategic planning workspace. And as a part of that, we see this a lot in healthcare. We see organizations where they're creating their strategic plans. And it could be the overall organization strategic plan. We're seeing it being used for many different things, right? It could be your strategic plan for Gen AI. It could be a strategic plan for PMO as an example. And so it's a great way to document your plan and then start communicating your plan. And so it's then being used in these planning workspaces here. So here's the general overview. You would have your mission and vision in here. You can set the various values you want the organization to follow to help drive achievement of this plan. You can then set your strategic priorities or pillars that you want to use, and you can use that as well. These are then related to various goals, which you can then use and align your demands or projects to. So you can do that. These goals, can also be associated to that collaborative work management board. And so we can manage the overall goals. One thing that we've done, and as many of you know, we like to provide visualization reporting solutions to help with adoption and to improve overall results. We have an overall solution that we built here. It's called a strategic plan report portal. So here, if we can come in, we can click into the actual portal itself. And so you'll have a landing page here. Then you'll be able to select your various strategic plans. So in this case, I could select this AI plan. So it'd have the name of the plan, a description, and then what you'll be able to see here, here's the mission and vision. So pulled from that record that we were just showing, here's the various pillars or strategic priorities that we're looking to accomplish. Then we're taking one of those priorities, breaking it down by your goals, and then your goal targets, your KPIs are listed here. And then from there, you can look at that strategic priority or pillar. You can see all the items that you're managing there, and you can see the status and performance of that strategic priority. Same thing here, you can go to the next strategic priority, review the goals, and then also look at the progress at the implementation of those various items. So it's got the initiatives, strategic programs, project demands. Our newest version also has the epics in there as well. And then what you can do, you can take these nice layout here, you can print it or export it to PowerPoint. And so you can then easily communicate that, make sure everyone's focused on the big rocks in the organization based upon those different strategic plans. And as we mentioned before, these strategic plans, priorities, and goals, they roll up here into the different portfolio plans within your roadmaps as well. Wanted to thank everyone for participating in our session today, and feel free to follow up with it. We'll also do some follow-up, but Sean, I'll turn it back over to you so you can let everyone know about the next steps.